From the World Wide Web, this is Reflections of a Rabbi.
One drop of honey makes a world of difference. One drop of honey makes learning sweet. Add one drop of honey to Talmud Torah, and you've got a team that can't be beat. All starts with the children. Open minds and smiling faces.
I like to think of myself as not your average rabbi, not just a run-of-the-mill guy. In fact, I wear that fact on my sleeve. Well, not really on my sleeve. I wear it on my ear. See a little guy right there? Little earring. I like to think that that sets me apart. I know there are other rabbis who have earrings, but I'd like to think that it makes me different. Do you know that I actually get permission from this week's Parsha, Mishpatim, to have this earring? Not just permission. This is actually a part of my Jewish garb. Let me tell you what I mean. Right after the Israelites leave Egypt, they get across the sea, they get the Ten Commandments, the Aseret HaDibrot. One of the first things that God tells them is how they are allowed to keep servants. How Israelites are allowed to have other Israelites work for them as servants. That's very different than the servitude that we had back in Egypt. That was slavery. This is different. It's different in a number of ways. One of the ways is that if a servant and a master, if there's only one pillow, the master has to give the pillow to the servant. There's a lot more respect afforded to the servants. But they still are indentured. They still work for them. What's interesting, though, is that after 6 years of work, all slaves have to be set free in the Shemitah year. Any Israelite slaves must be set free. They must be allowed to leave. And if they came with anything, if they came with property, if they came with a family, they have to leave with that property or that family. Or if they acquired things while they were working, if they built a family or if they acquired possessions, they get to leave with those possessions or with their family. But then the Torah says something very interesting. It says, "But if the slave declares, 'I love my master and my wife and children, I do not wish to go free.'" Think about that for a moment. Somebody actually saying, "I'm so in love with my master. I have such a good thing going here. I want to stick around. I want to continue to be your servant." But that's exactly what the Torah describes for us. That a slave may say at the end of 6 years of work, "I want to stick around." So what does the master do if that's the case? Well, the master takes him before God. The servant is brought to the door or the doorpost, and his master shall pierce his ear with an awl, and he shall remain his slave for life. So piercing the ear, having an earring in, is a sign of eternal servitude. That the slave, the servant, is happy serving their master, and that they want to stick around forever. Aren't we all just servants of Hashem? An Eved Adonai is what Moses was called. That's what I want to be called too. I'm a servant of God, and you know what? I love my master. I have a really good thing going. I think I'd like to stick around for a little bit. This is just a symbol of that. Come to think of it, maybe more rabbis should have an earring. Until next time, Lehi Trot.